My brother raised his glass. To family. Everyone but you, the pathetic, money-obsessed failure. My parents smirked. I raised mine. To the failure who just stopped paying for everything you own. Family dinners were always a show. My parents would sit at the head of the table like royalty, my brother flanking them with that smug little half smile that said, "I'm everything you're not." Me? I was always the invisible one. The kid who worked for every dollar, who refused the family handouts because I hated the strings attached. This year, my parents decided to host Christmas at their house. Their mansion smelled of pine and fresh-baked bread, the silver polished until it reflected the chandelier's light like a second star. I walked in carrying my own gift bags, the ones I'd bought with my own money, feeling that familiar weight of being less than before the night had even started. The first hint of what was coming came when my brother stood to make a toast. Glass in hand, he looked at me like I was a guest in my own family's celebration. "To family," he said, voice dripping with ceremony. "Everyone but you, the pathetic, money-obsessed failure." The room laughed, not a nervous chuckle, not a polite smile, actual laughter. My parents smirked. My stomach sank, but I didn't flinch. I had rehearsed this night in my head 1,000 times, and I was ready. I waited for the clink of glasses to die down, waited until the laughter faded to a dull roar of murmurs. Then I lifted my own glass. To the failure who just stopped paying for everything you own. Silence. For a second, the entire room seemed to freeze. The air got heavier, and the chandelier's reflection in the silverware seemed suddenly cruel. My brother's smirk faltered. My parents blinked. I smiled politely, as if we were merely sharing an inside joke. I hadn't come here to argue, to justify myself. I had come here because I wanted to see what happened when I stopped being the invisible wallet, the silent provider for everyone's luxuries. The truth was simple. My parents had spent decades, subtly and not so subtly, leveraging my income. College tuition for my brother? Covered. Down payment on his house? Covered. His luxury car lease? Definitely covered. Me? I had to take out loans for college, pay my own rent, and cover every emergency myself. I was the only one who worked my way up without borrowing from the family coffers. The only one who refused to play the game. And yet, every time a holiday rolled around, I was expected to fund the mansion, the catered dinners, the expensive wine. Every single time. I had finally drawn the line. My accounts were closed, my credit cards were cut, and I had refused their latest request. The $15,000 Christmas bonus that would have bought them another set of gold-plated flatware. They were shocked, insulted, outraged. My brother's toast tonight was just a confirmation of his entitlement, and my parents' smirk was their way of trying to shame me into compliance. After my toast, my brother's face turned red, his jaw tight. He opened his mouth, probably to launch into a rant about responsibility or family loyalty, but the words wouldn't stick. I sat back, letting the moment linger. There was no satisfaction in gloating, no joy in revenge, just clarity. For years, they had painted me as the failure, the one who didn't measure up to their standards of wealth and appearances. And for years, I had felt it. But tonight, the tables had turned. Not with violence or shouting, not with dramatic gestures, but with a quiet refusal to be their bank. Dinner continued awkwardly. My parents tried to steer conversation to safe topics. Weather, politics, local news, but the air had changed. My brother barely touched his plate. I poured myself another glass of wine and focused on the meal, enjoying it without guilt. I had worked hard for this independence, and for the first time, they couldn't take it from me. When the evening ended, I helped clear the table politely, smiling at my own reflection in the polished silverware. My parents thanked me, their voices tight with irritation that they couldn't disguise. My brother muttered something under his breath that sounded like an apology, though it lacked conviction. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I walked out into the crisp night air, my coat heavy, but my heart light. For the first time, I wasn't their failure. I wasn't the invisible provider. I wasn't the one who had to fund someone else's life to keep peace at the dinner table. I was free. And in that freedom, I finally raised my glass again, alone in my apartment, to the family that thought they had me figured out. I drank, smiling, because this time, I was the one in control.